warmth, destiny, and the cradle. Imagine the weight of the modern world evaporating as your spirit is poured into a body of bronze and starlight. As the shadows of the palace lengthen, a powerful truth takes hold. In this dream, you are Alexander the Great. Sleep now, and let the conquest of history begin.
Imagine you are standing on a high marble balcony in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia. The year is 356 BC, and the summer heat still clings to the stone, radiating a gentle warmth against your skin. Below, the city is settling into a deep, rhythmic quiet. The distant torches of the night watch flicker like grounded stars, and the air is thick with the scent of wild mountain thyme and the salt of the nearby sea. You are safe here, tucked away in the heart of a kingdom that is about to change the world forever. Tonight, a prince is born. In the royal chambers, Queen Olympias rests, her dark hair fanned out against white linen. She whispers to the infant Alexander, not of toys or simple things, but of lightning and gods. She tells him that on the night he was conceived, a thunderbolt struck her womb, a sign that he is the son of Zeus himself. Her voice is a low, melodic hum, a protective barrier against the chaos of the outside world. As you listen to the cadence of her ancient Greek, your own thoughts begin to slow, matching the steady rise and fall of the sleeping infant's chest. Beyond the palace walls, the great temple of Artemis in distant Ephesus is said to be engulfed in flames. The mystics whisper that the goddess was too busy attending Alexander's birth to save her own home. It is a fiery omen, but here the fire is only a glowing hearth. The orange embers pulse with a soft, dying light, casting long, peaceful shadows across the floor. You watch the shadows dance, feeling your eyelids grow heavy with the weight of antiquity. The stone of the balcony is smooth beneath your hands, polished by generations of kings who stood where you stand now. You can feel the history of the earth within the marble, cool, solid, and unchanging. The pillars around you are like silent sentinels guarding the sleep of the city. There is a profound sense of permanence here, a feeling that the world is held in a careful, divine balance. You lean your weight against the balustrade, letting the strength of the palace support you completely. In the gardens below, the cicadas have begun their nightly chorus, a shimmering wall of sound that vibrates through the warm air. It is a hypnotic, buzzing drone that seems to pull the tension from your limbs. Each pulse of the insect song is an invitation to let go of the day, to sink deeper into the soft velvet of the Macedonian night. A soft breeze wanders up from the thermal springs, carrying the faint, clean smell of mineral water and wet stone. It brushes against your face like a silk veil, cooling the lingering heat of the sun. You close your eyes for a moment, simply feeling the air move past you. It carries the whispers of the plains and the secrets of the mountains, but right now it only carries the message of rest. You breathe it in, deep, slow, and easy. Inside the nursery, the light of a single oil lamp flickers, casting a golden glow on the walls decorated with scenes of heroes and lions. The oil has a faint scent of olives and honey, a rich, grounding aroma that fills the room. The flame is small and steady, unaffected by the winds outside. It is a focal point of absolute calm. You watch the tiny light, and as it wavers, your focus softens, blurring the edges of the room into a hazy, comfortable dreamscape.
The infant Alexander shifts slightly in his cradle, his tiny hand curling into a soft fist. He is dreaming of the hunt, or perhaps of the stars, but his sleep is unbroken and profound. Around him, the heavy wool tapestries muffle any sound from the corridor, creating a cocoon of silence. The world outside may be vast and demanding, but inside this room, time has slowed to a crawl. There is nothing to achieve, nothing to conquer. There is only the presence of the now. You notice the texture of the white linen sheets on the queen's bed, the way they catch the light like fallen snow. Everything in this room is made of natural things: wood, wool, stone, and flame. There is no artificiality here, only the raw, honest materials of the earth. This connection to the ground makes you feel heavy and rooted. Your feet feel solid against the floor, and that solidity travels up through your legs, relaxing every muscle it touches. As the night deepens, the sound of the Aegean Sea reaches the balcony, a distant, repetitive hush-wash against the shore. This is the same water that will one day carry Alexander's ships to the ends of the earth, but for now it is merely a lullaby. The water is ancient and patient. It has seen empires rise and fall, and tonight it only sings of rest. You lean into the cool stone of the balustrade, letting the rhythmic sound of the waves dissolve the tension in your shoulders. The palace is a sanctuary of silence. You notice the way the torchlight plays upon the bronze shields lining the corridor. The metal reflects a dull, warm glow that feels like a sunset held in place. These shields have seen the heat of the sun and the cold of the rain, but tonight they are merely ornaments of a quiet house. You feel a similar sense of rest. Your own armor, the defenses you carry throughout the day, can finally be set aside. You are unburdened, standing in the heart of a kingdom that is as still as a bated breath. The scent of the sea grows stronger as the night cools, a clean, briny fragrance that clears your mind. You can almost hear the soft rustle of the olive groves on the slopes beyond the city walls. Thousands of silver-green leaves are turning in the dark, whispering to one another in a language of rustling silk. It is a vast, natural sigh that ripples across the Macedonian countryside, encouraging everything that lives to surrender to the night. You find yourself sighing with them, a long, slow release of air. Inside the nursery, the queen's breathing has become a deep, rhythmic anchor. There is a profound beauty in this shared stillness. The most powerful woman in the world and the future conqueror of the earth are reduced to the simplest human state: sleep. You realize that peace is the ultimate destination, the place where all paths eventually meet. And as you watch the soft rise and fall of the linen over the cradle, your own heart rate sinking with theirs, moving into a slow, steady, and peaceful cadence.
The years turn like the pages of a heavy book. We move now to a wide, dusty training field under the golden light of the Macedonian afternoon. The air is dry and smells of sun-baked earth and horsehair. In the center of the ring stands Bucephalus, a stallion as black as a raven's wing, fierce and unyielding. He is a storm of muscle and hooves, terrified by a flickering shape on the ground. He is fighting his own shadow, unable to understand the dark silhouette that follows his every move. Young Alexander steps into the dust. He doesn't carry a whip or wear spurs. He carries only a quiet, absolute confidence. He approaches the beast with a low, vibrating hum, a sound meant to settle the horse's racing heart.
He gently takes the bridle and turns the horse's head toward the sun. Suddenly, the shadow vanishes behind them. The monster is gone. The horse exhales a long, shivering breath, and in that moment, the boy and the beast become one. Imagine the feeling of that first ride, the rhythmic thud-thud, thud-thud of hooves hitting the soft, loamy soil. It is a hypnotic beat, steady and grounding. You are sitting behind Alexander, feeling the powerful, rolling gait of the horse beneath you. The wind rushes past your ears, a cool stream of air that carries away the clutter of the day. You are moving through a landscape of rolling green hills and jagged limestone peaks, a world that is vast, beautiful, and silent. The sunlight filters through the leaves of the plane trees, creating a mosaic of light and dark on the forest floor. As you ride, the shadows of the branches skip across your skin, cool and then warm, cool and then warm. The temperature is perfect, the kind of warmth that makes you want to stretch your muscles and then let them limp. The horse's mane is coarse and real beneath your fingers, a reminder of the raw power of nature that has been brought into harmony. You reach the groves of Mysa, where the nymphaeum stands, a sanctuary of stone and spring water dedicated to the spirits of the wild. Here the air is significantly cooler, held in the shade of ancient oaks. You dismount, and the feeling of the solid ground beneath your boots is a relief. Your legs feel heavy from the ride, a good kind of tiredness that signals the body to prepare for stillness. You walk toward the sound of a trickling stream, each step sinking slightly into the moss. Later, the sun begins to set, casting long purple shadows over the groves. Here Alexander sits at the feet of Aristotle. The philosopher's voice is a steady, monotonous drone, deep and comforting like a cello. He speaks of the golden mean, of the stars that track across the sky, and of the hidden logic that binds the smallest leaf to the largest mountain. The scent of old parchment and dried herbs hangs in the air, a scholarly perfume that clears the mind. Aristotle points to the horizon, explaining that the world is a sphere of perfect order. As he talks, you watch a single olive leaf drift slowly from a branch, spiraling down in the heavy, warm air. It takes an eternity to reach the grass. Your mind follows the leaf, down and down, away from the need to understand, and into the simple act of observing. The lesson is over. The sun has dipped below the hills. The world is a map of peace, and you are resting in its center. You notice a small stone bench nearby, carved with geometric patterns that represent the elements. You sit down, feeling the rough texture of the limestone. Aristotle's voice becomes a background hum, like the sound of a distant hive. You don't need to capture the words, you only need to feel the wisdom behind them. It is the wisdom of knowing that everything has its place, and right now, your place is here, in the quiet, fading light of a perfect day. The sky above Mysa turns a deep, bruised indigo. The first stars begin to prick through the canopy, tiny diamonds in a vast, dark sea. Aristotle speaks of the music of the spheres, the idea that the planets create a harmony as they move through the heavens. You try to hear it, a silence so profound it becomes a sound of its own. It is a humming in your ears, a resonance that matches the vibration of your own resting heart. Everything is settling. The birds have found their nests, and the horse, Bucephalus, stands nearby, his head lowered, his breathing slow and deep. The world is coming to a full stop. The lessons of logic and science fade into the background, leaving only the sensory experience of the cooling air and the darkening woods. You feel a sense of immense clarity, a mental space where there are no questions left to ask. A small fire is built nearby for warmth,
its crackle the only thing breaking the silence. The scent of pine wood smoke drifts past, a sharp but pleasant aroma that grounds you in the present. You wrap the sparks fly upward, disappearing into the dark sky like the thoughts that you are letting go of. Each spark is a task finished, a worry released. They rise and vanish, leaving only the steady, comforting heat of the coals. You wrap a heavy wool cloak around your shoulders, feeling its comforting weight. It is like a physical embrace, a shield against the cooling air. Your body feels dense and relaxed, sinking into the stone of the bench. The lessons of the day have been absorbed into your bones. You are no longer a student or a traveler. You are simply a living part of this ancient landscape. The crickets in the grove begin to chirrup, a soft, repetitive clicking that seems to synchronize with the beating of your heart. It is a slow, steady pulse that pulls you down toward the earth. You feel as though you could sit here for 100 years, watching the stars turn and the seasons change. The world is large, but you are safe in this small, sacred grove. You are ready to close your eyes and let the wisdom of the ages become your dreams. The darkness in the grove of Misa is not empty, it is a living, breathing presence. You feel the coolness of the earth rising through the soles of your feet, a grounding energy that anchors you to the present moment. The philosophical debates of the morning have dissolved into a quiet acceptance of the world. Aristotle's golden mean is no longer a concept, but a feeling, the perfect balance between the warmth of the fading fire and the cool of the night air. You are perfectly centered, existing in the quiet middle of all things. Near the Nymphaeum, the water of the spring drips from a moss-covered rock into a pool below. Plink, plink, plink. It is a crystalline sound, sharp and clear against the velvet backdrop of the night. Each drop marks the passage of a second that requires nothing from you. You are not responsible for the water, the fire, or the stars. You are merely a witness to their quiet perfection. The sound of the water acts as a gentle solvent, washing away the last traces of movement from your mind. You look at Alexander, who now leans against the trunk of an ancient oak, his eyes half closed. He is a warrior in training, yet here he is a picture of absolute serenity. If the most ambitious soul in history can find time to be still, then so can you. The shadows of the trees stretch out like long, dark fingers, inviting you to lay down your thoughts and rest among the roots. You feel a heavy, pleasant drowsiness spreading through your limbs, a weight that is both comforting and inevitable.
Now the sound of the world changes. It becomes the rhythmic, hypnotic crunch, crunch, crunch of 30,000 boots marching on the royal road. This is the sound of an empire in motion. We have crossed the Hellespont and entered the vast, shimmering heart of Asia. The air here is different. It is exotic and heavy, scented with the musk of camels, the sharp tang of cedarwood, and the sweetness of crushed saffron. It is a warm, dry heat that slows the blood and calms the nerves. We pass through the city of Gordium, where the famous knot remains tied. Alexander does not struggle with the tangled rope. He does not spend hours searching for the ends. He simply looks at the complexity, smiles, and accepts it for what it is. With a single clean stroke of his sword, the knot falls away. Let your own thoughts be like that knot. You do not need to untie the problems of tomorrow. You can simply let them fall, severed by the realization that tonight they do not matter. The army moves toward Babylon, the jewel of the Euphrates. Imagine the blue glazed tiles of the Ishtar Gate, shimmering like a mirage in the heat. As we enter the city, the noise of the march fades, replaced by the sound of falling water. The hanging gardens rise above you in terraces of lush green, where hidden pipes allow water to trickle down stone walls in a constant melodic splash. Drip, drop, drip. The sound is 1,000 years old, a liquid clock that measures nothing but peace. You are walking through a market that has long since closed for the night. The stalls are covered in colorful silks, and the lingering scent of spices, cinnamon, cardamom, and star anise hangs in the narrow streets. The stones beneath your feet are smooth from centuries of travel. There is a sense of being in a place where time is measured in dynasties, not minutes. The scale of the city is so large that your individual worries seem like grains of sand in the desert. The heat of the day has been stored in the mud brick walls, and as you pass them, you can feel a gentle radiance. It is like the warmth of a ghost, a soft reminder of the sun that has already set. You find yourself moving slower, your steps becoming heavy as the humidity of the river valley settles over you. The air is thick, making every breath feel substantial and nourishing. You are breathing in the history of the world. The Persian nights are vast and cool. You are lying in a tent made of heavy silk, the fabric billowing gently in the desert wind like the sails of a ship. Outside, the campfires of the Macedonian army are dying down to glowing red eyes in the dark. The soldiers are asleep, dreaming of the rain in the mountains or the wine of their home villages. You are part of this great silent assembly. The desert sand outside acts as a giant muffler, absorbing every sound until there is only the silence of the dunes. Alexander sits in the doorway of his tent, looking toward the east. He is no longer just a king of Macedonia. He is the king of kings, but even he must bow to the night. He watches the moon rise over the ziggurats of Babylon, a pale silver coin in a sky of obsidian. The moon doesn't move, the world simply turns beneath it. You are turning with it, rotating away from the light of the day and into the shadow of the stars. Your journey is long, but the path is soft. You can hear the distant low bray of a camel and the soft clink of a sentry's spear, but these sounds only serve to highlight the massive silence of the surrounding desert. The desert is a sea of sand, stretching out for thousands of miles in every direction. It is a landscape of pure simplicity. No trees, no cities, just the endless rolling curves of the dunes under the moonlight. In the silk tent of Babylon, the air is perfectly still. The heavy incense of frankincense has settled into the fibers of the rugs, creating a scent that feels like a physical weight, pressing you gently into the earth. You are surrounded by the treasures of a dozen conquered nations, yet the most valuable thing in this room is the silence. It is a thick, luxurious silence that wraps around you like a cocoon. You can feel the vastness of the Persian Empire stretching out in every direction, thousands of miles of quiet sand and sleeping cities. You imagine the great river Euphrates just beyond the camp, its waters wide and dark. It moves with a heavy, oily grace, reflecting the stars like a liquid mirror. The river has no beginning and no end. It is a constant flowing presence that has watched civilizations rise and fall. You let your consciousness merge with the river, feeling yourself glide over the smooth silt and past the reeds. You are moving without effort,
carried by a force that is much larger than yourself. The campfires outside have turned to white ash, their light extinguished. The world is now a study of shades of black and silver. You feel a sense of profound anonymity. Here, in the heart of the world, you are hidden and safe. The desert wind makes the tent ropes creak ever so slightly, a rhythmic sound like the straining of a ship's hull. You are sailing through the night, a passenger on a journey toward the morning, with nothing to do but watch the stars drift past the silk canopy.
The moonlight catches the fine dust suspended in the air, turning the atmosphere into a sea of liquid silver. Every grain of sand is a tiny world, settled and still, having traveled hundreds of miles just to rest here tonight. You feel that same pull toward the earth, a deep gravitational settling that begins in your shoulders and flows down to your fingertips. There is no wind left to move you. Like the desert at midnight, you have found your place of perfect repose. High above the camp, the constellations of the east, strange and brilliant, begin their slow, clockwise dance across the firmament. They move with a majestic slowness that makes the frantic pace of human life seem like a fleeting shadow. You watch the star Sirius hang like a cold diamond over the horizon, its light steady and unwavering. As you track its slow descent, your eyelids feel the weight of the celestial spheres, pulling them down with a gentle, irresistible force. Within the royal pavilion, the air is cooled by large blocks of ice brought down from the distant mountains, wrapped in layers of straw and felt. As the ice slowly melts, it releases a faint, crisp chill that cuts through the desert heat. You can hear the tiny rhythmic tink, tink of water droplets hitting a bronze basin. It is the sound of time dissolving, of solid ice turning to mist, just as your thoughts are softening and turning into the fluid language of dreams. The silk of your sleeping couch is cool to the touch, woven with threads of silver that feel like water against your skin. As you shift your weight, the fabric makes a sound no louder than a sigh, a soft shh that echoes the sound of the wind moving through the distant palms. You feel supported by layers of hand-tufted wool and soft cotton, a nest of comfort built in the middle of a wild, ancient world. You are a jewel held in the palm of the desert, safe and unreachable. Far off in the darkness, the Euphrates continues its steady, low-frequency hum. It is a sound felt more than heard, a vibration in the bedrock that speaks of deep water and ancient mud. It is the pulse of the cradle of civilization, a heartbeat that has been steady for 10,000 years. You let your own pulse slow to match it, feeling the deep, thrumming peace of the river valley vibrate through your body, turning every muscle into lead. You imagine the great library of Babylon, where thousands of clay tablets rest on cedar shelves. On those tablets, the deeds of kings and the movements of the stars are etched in unmoving stone. Tonight, the library is dark, the scribes are asleep, and the knowledge of the world is silent. Your own story, your own to-do lists and memories are like those tablets, put away on a high shelf, waiting in the dark, needing nothing from you until the sun rises. A single incense burner in the corner of the tent releases a final thin ribbon of blue smoke. It smells of agarwood and dried rose petals, a scent that is both grounding and ethereal. The smoke curls in the air, forming slow, lazy spirals that mimic the way your mind is wandering now. It drifts toward the roof of the tent, thinning out until it becomes one with the darkness.
You follow its path, your awareness thinning and spreading until you are as light as smoke, floating in the vastness of the room. Outside, a stable hand moves quietly among the horses, his footsteps muffled by the deep sand. He speaks a low, guttural word of comfort to a restless mare, and the animal settles instantly, its heavy breathing returning to a rhythmic swell. The peace is infectious. It travels from the stables to the sentry posts, from the tents to the riverbank. The entire army of Macedonia is now one single breathing entity, rising and falling in the dark. You think of the thousands of miles you have traveled in this dream, from the marble halls of Pella to the dust of the royal road. Every mile has been a shedding of weight, a letting go of the world you knew. Now, at the center of Asia, you are at your lightest. The distance between you and your worries is an ocean of sand, a mountain range of silence. You are effectively invisible to the world, tucked away in the velvet folds of a Babylonian night. The moon has reached its zenith, casting shadows so sharp they look like pools of black ink on the sand. In this world of high contrast, everything is simple. There is the light, and there is the dark. There is the breath, and there is the silence. You choose the dark. You choose the silence. You let the ink of the shadows wash over you, starting at your feet and moving up to your chest, cooling and calming everything it touches. The rhythmic clinking of the perimeter bells, stirred by a stray breeze, sounds like distant music from a dream you once had. It is a high, thin melody that exists only on the edge of your hearing. It tells you that the world is still there, but it is very far away. You are in the inner sanctum of the night, a place where the King of Kings himself has found his limit. If he can stop his march, if he can lay down his sword, then you can lay down your mind. The desert air begins to take the profound chill of the pre-dawn hours, causing you to pull the heavy woven blankets closer to your chin. The wool is scratchy and real, a grounding sensation that makes the softness of the bed feel even deeper. You bury your face in the scent of clean linen and sun-dried grass, feeling the warmth of your own breath create a small private climate of comfort. You are a world unto yourself. You find yourself thinking of the Ishtar Gate once more, its blue bricks representing the infinite sky. In the dark, the blue turns to a deep royal navy, almost black. You are walking through that gate now, not as a conqueror, but as a guest of the night. Beyond the gate lies the Garden of Sleep, where the trees bear fruit made of stars, and the grass is as soft as a whisper. You are stepping onto that grass now, your feet disappearing into the cool, dark lawn. The silence of Babylon is now absolute. Even the water in the hanging gardens seems to fall more softly, as if not to wake the sleeping city. You hear the tiny, rhythmic tink, tink of water droplets hitting a bronze basin. It is the sound of time dissolving, of solid ice turning to mist, just as your thoughts are softening and turning into the fluid language of dreams. Your journey through the dust of the East is complete. The sands have shifted to cover your tracks, leaving the path behind you as smooth and undisturbed as a mirror. There is no way back and no need to go forward. There is only the deep, heavy present. The desert is whispering your name, a sound that is indistinguishable from the wind. You close your eyes, and the silver moon of Babylon finally fades to black.
The desert is a sea of sand, stretching out for thousands of miles in every direction. It is a landscape of pure simplicity. No trees, no cities, just the endless rolling curves of the dunes under the moonlight.
The sight of it in your mind's eye is incredibly soothing, a world stripped of all noise. The moonlight catches the fine dust suspended in the air, turning the atmosphere into a sea of liquid silver. Every grain of sand is a tiny world, settled and still, having traveled hundreds of miles just to rest here tonight. You feel that same pull toward the earth, a deep gravitational settling that begins in your shoulders and flows down to your fingertips. There is no wind left to move you. Like the desert at midnight, you have found your place of perfect repose. High above the camp, the constellations of the east begin their slow clockwise dance across the firmament. They move with a majestic slowness that makes the frantic pace of human life seem like a fleeting shadow. You watch the stars hang like cold diamonds over the horizon, their light steady and unwavering. As you track their slow descent, your eyelids feel the weight of the celestial spheres, pulling them down with a gentle, irresistible force. Within the royal pavilion, the air is cooled by large blocks of ice brought down from the distant mountains, wrapped in layers of straw and felt. As the ice slowly melts, it releases a faint, crisp chill that cuts through the desert heat. You can hear the tiny rhythmic tink, tink of water droplets hitting a bronze basin. It is the sound of time dissolving, of solid ice turning into mist, just as your thoughts are softening and turning into the fluid language of dreams. We reach the furthest edge of the map, the banks of the Hyphasis River in India. The air is thick and humid, filled with the scent of jasmine and damp earth. A great tropical rain begins to fall. It is not a storm of wind and thunder, but a heavy vertical downpour that creates a wall of white noise. It drums against the canvas of the tents with a steady, relentless rhythm. Patter, patter, patter. It is the most beautiful sound in the world. It washes the dust of 11,000 miles from the souls of the men. The army refuses to go further. They sit in the rain, their heads bowed, listening to the earth tell them it is time to turn back. Alexander sits among them. He listens to the rain, and for the first time he hears the limit of his own ambition. The ends of the earth are not a place, but a feeling of completion. The drive to conquer dissolves into a desire for rest. The rain continues to fall, a warm liquid blanket that covers the entire world in a silver mist. Each drop of rain that hits the river creates a tiny expanding circle. You watch these thousands of circles intersect and fade, a liquid geometry that is endlessly fascinating and deeply relaxing. The river itself is rising, its brown waters moving with a heavy, unstoppable power. But on the surface, the rain creates a soft gray veil that hides the distant shore. The world has shrunk to the size of your tent and the sound of the water. We return to Babylon for the final time. The palace is silent. The great king lies in a chamber of cool cedar and gold. Outside, the Euphrates flows past the palace walls, a deep, dark, and ancient ribbon of water. It moves without a sound, carrying the silt of the mountains down to the sea. You are floating on that river. The current is so slow it is almost imperceptible. You are drifting past the temples, past the palms, toward the great silence. The generals gather at the bedside, their armor clinking softly like wind chimes in the breeze. They ask, "To whom do you leave your kingdom?" Alexander's voice is a mere shadow of a sound, a whisper that barely stirs the air. "To the strongest," he breathes. But the words don't matter anymore. The crown is a heavy circle of gold that he no longer needs to carry. He is letting go of the world,
and as he does, the world becomes a soft, blurred painting of blue and gray. The torches in the hallway are dimmed. The incense of frankincense and myrrh curls in the air, creating slow-moving patterns in the moonlight. Alexander has closed his eyes. The cities he built, the Alexandrias stretching from Egypt to the Indus, are now just points of light on a fading map. There is no more marching, there are no more battles, there is only the river. The dark, peaceful Euphrates is carrying you both into the stars.
The journey does not end in Babylon. It drifts westward, following the path of the setting sun toward the Siwa oasis. You find yourself in the heart of Egypt, where the air is a dry, golden weight. Here the pyramids stand like frozen mountains against the violet sky. The stone is ancient, holding the heat of the day long into the night. You lean against a limestone block, feeling the vibration of thousands of years of silence. Alexander was crowned pharaoh here, the son of Amun. In the temple's innermost sanctum, the walls are covered in hieroglyphs that tell of the eternal journey of the soul. The scent of blue lotus flowers, heavy and narcotic, fills the room. It is a floral weight that presses against your forehead, smoothing out the lines of worry and thought. You are in a tomb of living peace, where the concept of tomorrow has never existed. Outside, the desert wind, the Khamsin, is but a whisper against the stone. It carves the dunes into perfect ripples, a landscape of frozen waves. You watch the sand move in tiny rhythmic eddies, a slow-motion dance that hypnotizes the eye. The world is made of dust and light, and tonight the light is fading. You are sinking into the sand, not as a weight, but as a part of the landscape itself. The Nile flows nearby, a green thread through the brown earth. The sound of its movement is a low, guttural murmur, the voice of the earth's own circulatory system. You listen to the reeds rustle along the banks, a soft shh, shh, that mimics the sound of a mother comforting a child. The water is patient. It has carried the pharaohs to the afterlife, and now it carries your awareness into the deep, dark delta of sleep. You are wrapped in the finest Egyptian linen, soft and cool. The weight of the fabric is comforting, a gentle pressure that keeps you grounded while your mind begins to float. Above you, the goddess Nut arches across the sky, her body covered in stars. You are cradled in the center of the cosmos, protected by the stone and the sand. There is no more expansion, no more empire. There is only the breath and the ancient, unmoving stone.
We move now to Alexandria, the city of the great library. Imagine a hall of infinite height where the walls are lined with thousands of papyrus scrolls. The air smells of dried reeds, cedar oil, and old wisdom. It is a quiet, scholarly atmosphere that encourages the mind to cease its frantic searching. Every question you have ever asked has already been answered on these scrolls, and they are all rolled up, resting in the dark. You walk through the corridors of the library, your sandals making no sound on the polished mosaic floors. The moonlight streams through the high windows, illuminating the dust motes as they drift like tiny galaxies in the air. You don't need to read the scrolls. You only need to know they are there. All the knowledge of the world is safe, allowing you to let go of the need to understand. You can be blissfully ignorant in the heart of wisdom. A scholar sits in a far corner, his head resting on a wooden desk, his breathing deep and regular. His oil lamp has flickered out, leaving only the scent of charred wick. You follow his example. You find a high-backed chair carved from dark ebony and sit. The wood is cool against your arms. Your mind, once a busy workshop of plans and memories, is now a vast empty hall, echoing only with the sound of the distant sea. The lighthouse of Pharos stands in the harbor, its great fire casting a rhythmic pulse of light across the city. Glow, fade, glow, fade. It is a slow visual heartbeat. You watch the rhythm from the library window, letting your eyes go out of focus. The light is a reminder that the world is being watched over, that you are not alone in the dark. You can close your eyes now. The Pharos will keep the watch. The scrolls seem to hum with a low collective resonance, the voices of 1,000 poets and mathematicians merged into a single soothing frequency. It is a white noise of history, a background hum that drowns out the internal chatter of the ego. Your identity is just another scroll, and tonight it is tucked away in its niche. You are anonymous. You are a shadow among shadows, drifting toward the final shelf of the night. We drift now into the Mediterranean, sinking beneath the waves near the sunken palace of Cleopatra. The water is a warm, supportive blue, holding your body in a state of perfect weightlessness. All the pressure is gone from your joints, your spine, and your mind. You are floating in a liquid sky where every movement is slow and graceful. The world above is gone, replaced by a realm of turquoise silence. The sound of the ocean is a deep internal thrum, the om of the deep. It is the sound you heard before you were born, a muffled rhythmic heartbeat of the sea. It drowns out all other noise, creating a sanctuary of pure vibration. You breathe through this element as if it were air, the oxygen of peace flowing through your veins. You are a part of the water, a drop in the infinite ocean. You drift past ancient marble statues resting on the seabed, their features softened by the sea and covered in delicate coral. They are the guardians of the deep, resting in eternal grace. You follow their example, letting your limbs drift wherever the slow current takes them. There is no up and no down, only the supportive embrace of the water. You are sinking deeper into the blue, where the light is a dim, shimmering emerald. Tiny bubbles rise past you, a vertical rain moving toward the surface. You watch them go, letting them carry away the last of your bubbles of thought. Your mind is as clear as the water, reflecting nothing but the deep, steady peace of the abyss. The pressure of the water is like a gentle, full-body massage, pressing the sleep into your pores. You are becoming a creature of the deep, slow and silent. The sand on the sea floor is white and fine like powdered sugar. You settle onto it, and it rises up to meet your form, cushioning you perfectly. The current sways the seaweed in a rhythmic dance, a slow-motion forest of green. You watch the swaying until your eyes can no longer stay open. You are anchored to the heart of the sea, resting in the quietest place on earth. We find ourselves in a deep limestone cave in the mountains of Delphi. The air is cool and smells of wet stone and ancient earth. In the center of the cave, a small fissure in the rock releases a sweet-smelling vapor, the breath of Gaia. It is a scent that induces a state of deep, visionary calm. You sit on the smooth floor, the stone vibrating with the low-frequency hum of the tectonic plates moving far below. The cave is a perfect acoustic chamber. Every breath you take echoes softly, a rhythmic reminder of your own existence. In, out, in, out. The cave is breathing with you. You are in the womb of the earth, the most protected place in the universe. Thousands of feet of solid rock stand between you and the sky. No storm, no war, no noise can ever reach you here. You watch the shadows cast by a single dying ember on the wall. The shapes are abstract and fluid, moving with a slow, hypnotic grace. They look like the dreams of the earth itself. You let your mind merge with these shadows, losing the sharp edges of your identity. You are becoming the cave, the stone, and the vapor. You are a primal part of the planet's history. The silence of the cave is profound. It is the silence of the minerals, the silence of the stalactites that grow by a single drop of water every 100 years. You are on Earth time now. A minute is a year, an hour is an age. The frantic pace of your human life is a distant, meaningless memory. You are as patient as the stone, waiting for nothing, perfectly content in the dark. You lie back against the cool, damp wall, and the earth seems to open up to receive you. You are sinking into the bedrock, becoming a fossil of peace. The vapor of the oracle fills your lungs, turning your blood into liquid moonlight. You are ready for the final transition, the crossing into the world of pure, unmanifested sleep. You drift into a vast hall made of translucent ice, where every great word ever spoken resonates as a low, humming vibration. This is the Hall of Echoes, a place where sound is preserved in the very walls. You hear the echoes of your own commands at Gaugamela and your whispers in the gardens of Babylon. But the sounds are losing their meaning. They are no longer words of power or pain, but pure frequencies of light. The I that conquered worlds is dissolving into the we of the universe. The walls of the hall reflect your image 1,000 times, but with each reflection, your features become softer and less distinct. You are watching yourself fade into the background, becoming a part of the architecture of the night. It is a relief to lose the mask of the great king. The responsibility of being Alexander is a heavy one, and here you are allowed to drop it. You are becoming a nameless traveler in a house of memories. The floor of the hall is as frozen as a lake, and as you walk, you feel no friction. You are gliding, your movement effortless and fluid. The air is cold, but not biting. It is a crisp, clean cold that numbs the senses in a pleasant, drowsy way. You feel the chill entering your limbs, turning your blood into liquid crystal. Your body feels heavy and solid, like a statue carved from the mountain itself. Every sound in the hall is muffled, as if the air were made of velvet. Even the echoes of your own footsteps are swallowed by the vastness of the space. It is a world of acoustic dampening, a sanctuary where the noise of history comes to die. You listen to the silence between the echoes, finding it to be more substantial than the sounds themselves. The silence is a physical presence, a weight that presses against your ears and calms your mind. You find a throne made of ice at the center of the hall, and you sit. It is not a seat of power, but a seat of observation. From here you can watch the memories of your life drift past like slow-moving clouds. You see the face of your mother, the eyes of your horse, and the dust of the road. But you feel no attachment to them. They are like scenes from a play you watched a long time ago. You are the audience now, and the show is over. The hall begins to resonate with a deep, subterranean sound, the groan of the earth shifting in its sleep. It is a grounding noise, a reminder that you are still connected to the physical world, even as you drift away from it. The sound vibrates through the ice throne and into your spine, relaxing every nerve. You feel as though you are being vibrated into a state of total liquid peace. Your thoughts are no longer sharp, they are rounded and smooth. The light in the hall is a dim, ethereal blue, the color of the sky just before the first star appears. It is a color that encourages the eyes to close. You watch the light play across the ice, creating patterns that look like frozen lightning. As you watch, your eyelids grow heavier and heavier, pulled down by the sheer weight of the silence. The blue light becomes a dark indigo, and the indigo becomes black. The echoes are fading now, one by one. The sounds of the battles, the speeches, and the celebrations are being absorbed by the ice. The hall is becoming a tomb of sound, a place where the past is finally allowed to be still. You are the last echo, a faint whisper of a life that was once lived with great intensity. You left that whisper go, letting it merge with the cold, quiet air of the hall. The walls of the hall begin to melt, turning from solid ice into a warm, crystalline mist. This transition is incredibly soothing. The hard edges of the world are being softened and washed away. You are floating in a cloud of pure potential, a white room where nothing has been written yet. The memories of your life are now just a soft, glowing fog, providing a gentle illumination that requires no effort to see. You are shedding the weight of your name, leaving behind only the pure, silent essence of your being. You are not a king, not a soldier, and not a dreamer. You are simply a presence, a point of awareness in a sea of mist. The hall is gone, the echoes are silent, and the mist is carrying you toward the final shore. You are ready to stop being and start simply existing. Beyond the nebula, you find yourself in a space of infinite silver threads. This is the loom of time, where the fates once sat to weave the lives of kings. You see the thread of Alexander, a bold golden strand, merging into the vast, intricate tapestry of humanity. It isn't a tangled mess, but a pattern of perfect symmetry. As you watch the threads move, your mind stops trying to trace the lines. You realize that you are not just a single thread, but the weaver and the loom itself. The silver strands vibrate with a low, resonant hum, like the sound of a distant harp. Each vibration is a year, a decade, a century, all happening in a single glorious moment. You watch the patterns repeat, the rise of a wave, the falling of a leaf, the birth of a star. There is a deep comfort in this repetition. It suggests that nothing is ever truly lost, only rewoven. Your own life, with all its complexities, is simply a beautiful knot in a much larger design. The air here is thin and sparkling, filled with the scent of ozone and starlight. It is a clean, antiseptic smell that clears the remaining clutter from your mind. You feel as though you are being unspooled, your physical body dissolving into light and movement. You are no longer a person with a weight and a height. You are a sequence of events, a melody that is being played by the universe. The tension in your jaw and shoulders vanishes as you accept your role in the pattern. You notice the way the threads intersect, creating points of brilliant light. These are the moments of connection, the instances where souls meet and destiny is forged. From this perspective, the battles of Alexander look like flashes of gold, necessary sparks that lit the way for the world to change.
You feel a sense of profound forgiveness for all things, for yourself, for your enemies, and for the world. Everything has been woven exactly as it should be. The movement of the loom is rhythmic and hypnotic, over, under, over, under. It is a visual lullaby that matches the steady pace of your breathing. You find yourself nodding along with the motion, your focus blurring until the silver threads become a soft, glowing mist. You are drifting away from the story of your life and into the pure mechanics of existence. There is no need to understand the design. It is enough to be a part of it. In the background, the great silence of the cosmos acts as a dark canvas for the silver loom. The contrast is beautiful, the bright, busy threads against the infinite, peaceful dark. You find your eyes gravitating toward the dark spaces, the gaps between the threads, where there is nothing but rest. You are drawn to the stillness of the void, the places where the loom has not yet reached. It is a promise of a place where no work is required. You feel the weight of the crown you once wore as Alexander falling away, turning into a strand of golden thread that disappears into the tapestry. It is no longer a burden, it is just a color, a memory of a role you once played. You are unmasked and unburdened, standing in the center of the cosmic workshop. The fates have finished their work for today, and the loom is slowing down. The silver threads are settling into a final, peaceful arrangement. The light of the loom begins to dim, turning from brilliant silver to a soft charcoal gray. The hum of the threads drops in pitch, becoming a bass note that vibrates in your chest. It is the sound of completion. The tapestry is finished, the story is told, and the weaver is ready for sleep. You let your awareness drift into the soft fibers of the loom, feeling the texture of time against your spirit. It is soft, like the finest silk. You are being wrapped in the fabric of history, a warm, protective shroud that insulates you from all noise. Every struggle you have ever faced is now just a subtle texture in the cloth, a detail that adds beauty without causing pain. You are safe within the folds of the ages, tucked away in the very heart of the design. The world will continue to turn, and the loom will begin again tomorrow, but for now, the work is over.
The cave walls begin to dissolve, and you find yourself floating in the vastness of the cosmos. You are no longer Alexander, and you are no longer a traveler. You are a point of consciousness in a sea of stars. The Milky Way arches over you like a bridge of diamonds. The space between the stars is not empty, it is a field of pure, resting potential. It is the great silence from which all things come and to which all things return. You see the earth far below, a tiny blue jewel hanging in the dark. It looks so peaceful from here, its borders invisible, its history a single, quiet breath. You send a final thought of gratitude to the planet, to the Pella balcony, the horse Bucephalus, the dust of Asia, and the river Euphrates. They were the steps on the ladder that brought you here. Now you can let the ladder go. The stars begin to hum, a symphony of light that you feel in your very soul. It is the music of the spheres that Aristotle spoke of, a harmony of perfect order and infinite peace. You are a note in that symphony. You are vibrating at the frequency of the universe. There is no more me and them, no more here and there. There is only the light and the dark in perfect balance. You are drifting toward a great soft nebula, a cloud of stardust that looks like a bed of glowing cotton. You sink into it, and the light of the stars becomes a warm, golden fog that fills your vision.
It is the light of 1,000 suns, but it is as soft as the glow of a hearth. It is the light of home. You are being reabsorbed into the source of all things. The conquest is finished. The map of the universe is complete. There are no more Alexandrias to build. There is only the eternal shimmering blue. Sleep now, beyond the history, beyond the light, into the deep, into the dark, into the all.